Hello, everyone. When I was teaching 7th graders math, I quickly realized something surprising. The strongest students weren't always the smartest. They weren't necessarily the ones who understood the material right away. What separated them, what made the real difference, was something else: their ability to focus, to direct their mind even when it was hard, especially when it was hard. Focus isn't about talent, it's a discipline. It's the capacity to say no to distractions, even the ones that seem urgent, and yes to the things that truly matter. We live in a world designed to steal our attention. Apps buzz, notifications light up. The average person checks their phone hundreds of times a day, and in the middle of all this, we wonder why we can't finish what we start. The truth is, focus isn't automatic. It's something we train like a muscle. And like any muscle, it grows through use. There's a myth that people with great focus were just born that way, but science tells us otherwise. Focus improves with deliberate practice. Just like a musician practices scales, focused thinkers practice staying present. They get better at noticing when their mind has wandered and gently bringing it back. Not once, but over and over again. That's not weakness. That's mental strength. People who learn to focus also learn to persist. And when you persist, you learn more, you get better, and when you get better, your confidence grows. It's a cycle, but it starts with your attention. If you want to achieve something difficult, whether it's mastering a skill, solving a problem, or creating something new, you have to stay with it long enough to struggle. Focus is what gets you through that struggle. And finally, focus is not just about productivity, it's about purpose. When you focus, you start to see what really matters to you. You make decisions not out of impulse, but out of intention. You stop reacting and start creating. You begin to live not just a busy life, but a meaningful one. So if you want to grow, if you want to succeed, if you want to live with purpose, you need to focus your mind. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. Focus is often misunderstood as a trait that some people are just born with, but research and experience consistently show that focus is not a fixed ability. It's a skill, and like any skill, it improves with deliberate practice. This kind of practice is intentional, structured, and designed not for comfort, but for growth. It's about repeatedly doing the hard thing, staying with it longer than is comfortable, and gradually building mental endurance. Deliberate practice is different from simply doing something over and over again. It involves clear goals, feedback, and constant adjustment. For example, a violinist doesn't just play songs they already know. They break pieces into sections, isolate the hard parts, and play them slowly, correcting mistakes along the way. That kind of practice is cognitively demanding, and so is the mental training required to improve focus. When we train ourselves to stay with a task, especially when it's difficult or boring, we are rewiring our brains. We're teaching ourselves that discomfort is not a reason to quit. Every time your mind starts to wander, and you gently pull it back to what matters, you're strengthening the neural pathways associated with attention and self-control. At first, this can feel frustrating, but over time, it becomes easier. Your attention span increases. You can work longer without drifting, and you begin to notice distractions before they fully pull you away. Another important aspect of deliberate practice is awareness. Improving focus means being able to recognize when your attention has shifted. This is why techniques like mindfulness and meditation are often part of focus training. They help build that moment-to-moment awareness. The goal isn't to have a perfectly still mind. The goal is to notice the movement of your attention and to return it to your chosen task with intention. That simple act of noticing and redirecting, repeated many times, is the essence of deliberate focus practice. It's also important to practice in a way that stretches you, working on something just at the edge of your ability, where it's hard enough to be engaging, but not so hard that it feels hopeless, creates the ideal conditions for growth. In this zone, you're pushing your brain to stay alert, to stay locked in, even when the task feels mentally taxing. Over time, this kind of effort builds not just focus, but also grit. You learn to tolerate mental discomfort. You stop giving in to every impulse to check your phone, daydream, or switch tasks. You start to value depth over speed. And you discover that some of your best work, your most original thinking, and your deepest learning come not in moments of ease, but in those quiet, focused hours when you stayed with the task. So if you want to improve your focus, don't wait for it to magically appear. Practice it, train it, challenge it. Like any skill, the more you work at it, the stronger it gets.